You've got a passion for the outdoors, a desire to feel the warm sun on your face, the sound of your fly line whipping through the air, the pop of the water as the fish inhales the fly you just found in the floorboard of your truck. You need to feel the cool waters on your feet, the crisp north breeze of a November morning, the sound of a turkey gobble, the December rut, the chills of an elk bugle in September. It's the longing passion to chase your obsession. This is what we share. This is what we preach. Welcome to Honey Hole Hangout.
Welcome, boys. How are y'all doing today?
Fantastic.
Howdy, howdy.
What's up, Grant?
How's it going,
Long
man?
time no see.
I know.
At least on the podcast.
Yeah,
we see each other
true.
pretty often.
True.
Yep.
Yeah. What, a couple hours ago?
Yep. Saw you a couple hours ago for
Yeah.
lunch.
Yep.
That brisket, what was it I had for lunch? You
Brisket,
recommend-
smoked brisket, French dip.
Oh, dude.
Oh, that's what I have when
Yeah,
we're out
that's
there.
right.
Dude,
Oh,
it's
man, it's so good.
Yep. Yep. Really
Got a good
good.
chef, man. He does a good job.
Yep. Yep. No, it was awesome.
I got to be careful how many times in a week I eat there because it's
Heavy.
definitely, it's a high-calorie meals there, but
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah. No, for
It's worth
sure.
it.
We're going to have brisket on Saturday.
You making it?
Nope. My school is for the solar eclipse.
Yeah,
Ooh, cool.
you were saying you had something for school for the solar eclipse,
Yep.
and what's going on?
We're doing a fall festival.
Is it required for students or optional for students?
Optional, but this year, to get them to come out for the solar eclipse, normally we do a fall festival and we do a spring festival, but with the solar eclipse, we're doing it in the morning, so that way we can kind of like two birds, you know? But if students come out and they go visit a booth, that's like one booth is from science, one from history, one from English, one from math. If they visit all four of those booths, they'll get extra credit.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
we're kind of encouraging them to come out that way. Plus, they get free like
The glasses.
Glasses.
Do either of you guys need a pair of glasses?
I would not mind.
Because
That would be
we
great.
ordered some, and
73
it
of
was like you had to, or 6 was the minimum or something dumb. So I'm like,
Heck yeah.
I'm gonna hand them out if people don't have them. So
They're giving them to us.
yeah.
But make sure you keep at least one for April.
I know this one. What's the eclipse in April?
This is the partial solar eclipse, so it's still pretty impressive, but it's you're going to be seeing a little bit more of the sun because the distance isn't quite close enough to the Earth.
Yeah, there's
But-
going to be a little ring on the outside.
Right.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in April is what's called the total solar eclipse, which means the Earth or the sun, the moon is the closest point to the Earth in its orbit. And it's also going to line up perfectly between San Antonio and the sun. So it'll be a complete...
So for both eclipses, I mean, what are the odds for both eclipses we get San Antonio
Right,
as like
right.
the
Because
best spot to view it?
If you don't know, it's literally making an X across the United States, and San Antonio is the only spot in America that is going to get both.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, technically
okay.
Kerrville, San Antonio,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But we're really, really fortunate here. Like, the one this weekend is going to be called the Ring of Fire because you'll be able to see that. But, like, in April, it's like it's a really, really rare occurrence.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be
Cool.
really cool.
Sweet.
And that one's on a Monday. And so, like, we're actually going to stop all classes, and, like, everybody in the school is going to go outside and
Awesome.
stuff like that.
That's great.
It's amazing how they can nail it down to the day.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, for sure. No, but remind me, I'll get you a pair of glasses.
yeah, we'll do. That'd be awesome.
You guys. Oh, okay. So we have a lot to talk to you about. Basically, you have a fishing cat now,
Yeah,
which
dude.
we're gonna
I
we're gonna
want to know that story.
we're
Yeah,
gonna tease that now and like talk
Yeah.
about it later.
Yeah,
But you also you recently caught your PB.
got a PB.
Bass.
Yeah, it's been eventful, man. This past couple months.
So let's talk
Okay.
about the bass now. So
Okay.
walk us through the story.
Well, okay, so it was one of those rare weekends where I got Saturday and Sunday to fish, and our buddy Gibson had gotten back from Belize. So Champion and I fished Saturday, and it was brutal, dude. I mean, I think we might have caught 4 fish all day float. And you know, it was midsummer.
Probably hot.
Yeah, triple digits, and but our buddy Gibson had come in and wanted to fish that Sunday, so we were like, well, whatever, let's just go. It wasn't good yesterday, but let's go again. And sure enough, man, that's when it happened. It was right off the bat on that float, and still early enough in the morning. I was throwing poppers, and the funny thing is I started off with like a deer hair, big old obnoxious deer hair popper. That was getting no love, and then switched to like a big old dee-doo, no love. So then I'm like, well, screw it, man. Maybe I'll just catch some sunfish or something. So I put on a micro popper, and that's what that bass came up and ate. Man, he just slurped it like a trout. It was cool.
Oh, he like slurped it.
Slurped it.
He
dude.
didn't like smoke it.
No, dude. It was the most subtle take ever. I had no idea. Like, I mean, I knew a fish came up and ate, but once that rod bent over, that's when I knew. I was like, oh my god, this is. Yeah,
dude,
it was such a
awesome.
it was incredible, man. Yeah.
And then didn't Champion catch a nice fish that day too?
Yeah. And
Some people say it was dead.
No,
but
it
some people saying it was not.
Yeah. Gabe. No, it was very alive. It just had a
was
missing eye,
blind
in one eye. But
Yeah.
I'm sure the bass was probably nearing the end of its life. It looked like a pretty beat up bass, but it was still swam off fine. Yeah, and it pulled. I mean, it was exactly 5 on the
And how
top.
big was yours?
Mine was 6'2".
How did you weigh them?
Champion has a Berkeley scale.
Nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sack of potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome.
Because I caught a fish. You know, we'd gotten to the point where we had caught enough pretty good bass to where we just wanted a scale just to know for ourselves. We're never gonna like send anything off for a record. If
you
we
say
ever
that
catch
till you
it.
catch a 10-pounder.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But at this point, it's more just out of curiosity. So we've got the scale now. But yeah, anyways, yeah, I caught one in February, and I really wish I had the scale for that one, man. That was a good fish,
But this latest one's
I think
bigger.
this one beat it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, and his bass was like 2 p.m., like hottest part of the day. You know,
Was his a slurp or was his a?
no, his was an aggressive. I actually saw it because he tends to, when he casts, he tends to kind of give it the fly a second to get down. And as that fly was dropping, he was looking elsewhere, and I saw that bass come up and smoke it. I said, set it, go, hurry. Yeah, he didn't even know.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
That's awesome. We're excited,
yeah.
Champion. We're excited to see you at the Iron Fly, man.
Right.
We saw you signed up.
Heck yeah.
Dangerous field with you involved.
Yeah, man, he can whip up some good flies, man.
Yeah.
Some good looking flies.
Yep, for sure. And he's doing that fly a day, you were saying?
Yeah.
So he's practicing, dude.
I know, he's getting ready. Yeah, that's
dude,
right.
he's ready. He wants to win that belt buckle.
Yeah.
Champion, my only requirement is that if you win, you have to wear that belt buckle anytime you go fishing. So
I'll hold them
outside
to
your
it.
waders and everything,
Oh, hell
dude.
yeah.
Oh man, can you imagine?
Yeah.
On your wading belt.
On your wading
That's
belt,
a
dude.
power move,
Dude, that's a
That
power
is
move.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Well, Zach, have you been doing any fishing?
No fishing, but I did go hunting.
Fill us in there.
Yeah. So just a short overnight trip. Actually, it was kind of like a quick, like buddy reached out and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna hunt. You want to go down?" So we went down South San Antonio, maybe like an hour south. You know, it's archery season, but also like hogs or javelina or anything like that. And so we get there, and it was half of hunting, or actually probably over half of hunting, is just shooting the shit at the cabin. You know.
Oh, yeah, that's like the best part.
Right. And so we did that. We did that probably a little too long, and then went to bed at around 2:30 to wake up at 5:30 with a lot of grape juice.
Welch's.
Welch's, yeah.
Welch's. The
Welch's.
blood of Christ.
Yeah.
So, and so then so woke up at 5:30. Wasn't feeling too good, And so we made it out to the blind, and we were just hunting together, with the idea of like, all right, if a pack of hogs come out, I'll take the left one, you take the right one,
That never seems to work.
Never does, right? Never does. And so then, like, we were there for like an hour, and I'm feeling like worse, worse, and worse. And so one comes out, and I'm like, or a javelina comes out, right? And at first, it's kind of like a little dark still.
Oh, it was a javelina.
Right. And so, but in South Texas, actually, I think the day we were out, they're in season everywhere. So it comes out, and at first, I'd never seen javelinas like at a feeder, and I was like, those don't look like hogs. I was like, I think that's a javelina. And my buddy was like, all right. He's like, you take the left one, I'll take the right one. And like at this point, like I literally hit like the peak of like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Like if we don't kill something soon, like I'm gonna blow this whole hunt for everybody, And I'm like, I can't do it, man. I'm like, I don't feel good. You're gonna have to just take it for me, And so,
Oh, it was that bad.
It was that bad,
dude.
Yeah.
That's a lot of grape juice.
Yeah. Well, no, it was like a mix of that, and also we were sleeping on these twin beds where I feel like I was at an incline where like my legs were above my head, and so the whole night I was just like feeling like heartburn from it, like just like rising the whole time,
Yeah.
Acid reflux. Kind
Right.
Of thing,
Oh
Yeah.
man. Yeah. So it was almost that more so than anything. Like my stomach wasn't hurting; it was just like the acid reflux from it.
Yeah.
And so finally, he took a shot. Javelina down, and then I run out. I'm like, thank God, man. I literally run 50 yards behind
Blood
it.
chucks.
Oh, dude, man. Yeah, painting the town red. And and so, but then we started the process of cleaning it, but he gut shot it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brutal.
And so, man, that thing smelled bad. Like, it was tough. So we cleaned it up, and man, I don't know what it was. But do you ever have just like an off day? I mean, granted, I wasn't feeling good, but like it took us like 45 minutes to clean the javelina, right? Like it took us so long. They didn't really have a good setup for a javelina specifically because like the what is it, like the yoke thing that you can hang them on was like too wide, and so we couldn't really get a good fit, and it was just like, ugh. So 45 minutes in, we've like skinned half of it, like all the guts are out, but like everything is just coated in guts and stuff, and like the stomach and stuff. And
Brutal.
we were like,
Well, and they don't smell great either.
No,
naturally,
yeah.
they have that
No.
gland that.
and I read about that, and I was like, okay, so we got to watch out for this gland too. And I told him, I was like, why don't we just cut out the back straps? I was like, like everything inside has already been kind of like exposed. Everything else, I was like, let's just do that. So cut out the back straps, and we got Mexican food and called it a day.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
But no, it was fun, man.
Mexican food after grape juice, dude.
Oh
yeah,
man, nothing had tasted better in my life.
Oh yeah.
It was like a big like breakfast Mexican plate with like everything you want. Oh man, it was great.
Nice.
Get that grease to soak up all the alcohol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So Carson took Jake, my brother-in-law Jake, out to the ranch to go hog hunting, and Jake shot like a 300-pound hog.
no,
Dude, thing is huge.
It's giant.
Dude, I'll show you a picture after. I'm not using my phone to record.
Yeah.
Dude, thing was massive.
Was
Biggest
it?
hog I've seen out there for sure.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
Yeah, no, massive. But they apparently they had a great time. I was invited to go out there with them, but I just couldn't get away. So apparently they saw some coyotes too. We were trying to do some coyote calling, just kind of a fun weekend they had. So
Big old West Texas hog.
big old West Texas hog, dude. That
That's-
thing was massive. Big boy.
That's cool though.
I went to that Aggieland.
Oh yeah. How was that?
Dude, that was great. It was good. Those guys from Good Fly,
Mm-hmm.
Alan and company, do a good job putting that event on, and had a great time. And I was the MC, so I gave the announcements. Had a lot of people, a lot of listeners come by and say hi. So if you stop by, thanks for stopping by, and sold some stuff and talked about the Ironfly a lot. So hopefully
Nice.
we'll see a lot of you guys at the Ironfly if we saw you at the Texas Fly Fishing Roundup. And, all those events, too, are great because you run into, like, people that you know every time. Or
Oh yeah. People you haven't seen in forever.
Like Rob was there, Rob McConnell, Fly Fishing Houston book.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
We were supposed to go squirrel hunting with.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
we still need to do that.
He was there. We chatted for a bit, and
I'm assuming the A&M Fishing Club.
A&M Fishing Club was there. Yep,
Yeah.
those guys were there. Some other people I hadn't met, like other vendors I hadn't met before, were there, which is cool. So chatted with them too. Obviously, the Real Recovery crew was there. We had a booth right next to Real Recovery,
Nice to talk about.
so I hung
the
out with
thing.
Steve and some of the other guys there. So
Cool.
yeah, it was awesome. It was a fun day. So great event, guys, and we hope to see you at some of y'all at the Ironfly.
They have good coffee.
You know, they weren't doing the coffee thing because Coffee and Caddis had a booth there,
Oh,
and they were handing out the coffee.
gotcha. Did you try their coffee?
I did.
Was it good?
It was good. I also tried their coffee when it was 105 degrees outside.
Oh yeah.
So like hot coffee when it's that hot.
Yeah, it didn't hit the sunlight.
The coffee was great. Normally, I would finish almost any cup of coffee, and I'm not the biggest coffee fan, but when I drink coffee, I drink it all on whatever. But I didn't finish it because it was like too hot. And then some people were even like, "Dude, it's 100 degrees outside. Why are you getting coffee? Like, how is that even good?" I'm like, "Well, the coffee's good, but then it's like, you drink it, the coffee's hot, and you're like hot, and like,
Maybe next
too
year, bring some cold brew.
yeah, some cold brew." There was a lemonade vendor there, dude. Oh, dude, I got a glass of lemonade, dude, like fresh squeezed lemonade.
Oh yeah,
Dude, they had a machine that I had never seen this at a lemonade stand before, but it was pretty ingenious. They cut the lemons, and then they used these like heavy plastic cups, and they had this like hydraulic press that like dropped this hammer. So they throw like a couple lemons in the bottom of your glass, and then it would like smash all the lemons in the bottom of the glass, and they add the water on top of that, ice and sugar.
Oh, cool.
And then they like had a way to mix it up, and I was like, man, that's
cool.
pretty. Like they were cranking through the line as opposed to.
It's like a beefed up French
yeah,
press or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I had an orange juice one time that a robot did it like that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
I pushed a button and this little arm was like, "Okay, here we go," and then it like squeezed the orange juice, and I got like this much. It was exciting.
Well, this much.
Yeah, this much. That's all you. I was telling myself that's all you need of orange juice because it's so sweet. You know.
That's what you were telling yourself.
Yeah, you don't need that much orange juice. It's bad for you if you have more than that.
Fruits are bad for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all sugar.
So we had a conversation a couple weeks ago about this dude who posted on Instagram. It was like fly fishing hot takes, and there were 20 of them, and we worked through 10 of them.
So you're gonna give us the other 10?
I'm gonna give the other 10, and I want to see what you guys think.
All right.
The Instagram user Trout for Brains.
Trout for brains.
So which one did we do last time? I think we did this one last time, so we'll do this one today. Hot take number 1: camo clothing has no real impact on fish seeing you. What's your hot take? What do you guys think? You agree or disagree?
I mean, I don't know. I disagree. I think
You disagree. You think, and why?
because I mean, like if I walk out there in a bright red shirt, I feel like I scare more fish than if I'm out there in neutral colors. I don't think camo's necessary.
Yeah, just neutral.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, olives, white.
What do you think? You're the biggest carp angler here, and they're the skiddest fish.
That's
of them.
exactly what I would be worried. I guess that and redfish too. I've heard redfish guides say to wear
Neutral
muted colors.
like a blue, like a like
Yeah, or maybe like a gray or a
Yeah.
lighter green or something. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you wear a hot pink shirt out to go carp fishing, I have to think it's got to make a difference. I think.
That's
I
why
mean,
I never catch carp. I'm always wearing pink.
Yeah.
I would say I probably have a neutral opinion on that, but the only thing that gets me is the 1% rule.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about the 1% rule and think, does wearing camo clothing while fishing give you at least 1% of an improvement of odds of catching fish I would say it depends on what you're fishing for. If you're bass fishing, it doesn't matter whatsoever. So you're going to have to take it scenario by scenario. But I would say in some cases, depending on what you're fishing for, then yes, wearing camo would give you a 1% boost at least.
I could agree with that.
Yeah, I'm
So
down for that.
if that's the case, then I would say it has some minimal impact, I would say, would be the
Right.
word
But
I
it's
would
also
use.
like minimal effort. You know what I mean? Like to do that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To throw a gray shirt on it.
Right.
if you already have,
exactly,
if you already have like a camo shirt and you wear it fishing,
Right.
Yeah.
Like it takes zero effort to maybe get an advantage.
yeah. And a lot of guys complain like, "Oh, you're buying camo to go fishing," and like, no, I already have camo and I'm wearing it fishing.
See, that's a good rule of thumb, I think, is when you do buy clothes that you can wear for both.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you're hunting, like if I'm buying camo and I want to wear it fishing, like I'm not buying camo clothes to go fishing. I'm buying camo clothes to go hunting, and then I'm wearing them fishing.
Exactly, yeah.
So, all right. Number 2, expensive reels are often more about status than functionality.
I mean, like, are we talking saltwater? But even then, like, you can get a good reel for $150, $200 that does literally the exact same thing as a $600 reel. I mean, it might not last quite as long, but like realistically, I can't speak to that because I have $150 reels that last just as long as other people's. Like I have yet to damage one. You know,
I would say in most 95% for me, I would say 95% of the time that's true.
Yeah.
Because everything is like, Cliff isn't here, but dude, it depends. Because if I'm tarpon fishing, I'm gonna make sure that I have like if I'm Keys tarpon fishing,
Louisiana redfish,
like, and I'm like the gear matters and like mistakes matter, and I'm not gonna put like $150 reel on my rod and lose 150-pound tarpon because of some kind of failure on a reel.
But
And
also though, like you have to think about it, like guys in like the 40s and 50s were landing tarpon on like click and pawls. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
It's like realistic. I think we become spoiled as technology gets better. But like, you know, like they could do it, and they probably lost more fish than what we do now.
yeah,
But like
my only counter argument to that is I agree with you, but also fishing has gotten harder.
With
like
more
there's
pressure.
more
Yeah,
pressure,
yeah.
there's less fish. Like think about like Port A being like the tarpon capital of Texas, and now there's no
Yeah,
tarpon there.
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
So it's easier to land a fish on.
like you get fewer chances now, and so you want to take advantage of those chances.
I get that.
Yeah.
I can hear that argument. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, it depends. I would say in most cases, buy like $100 to $200 reel is probably like the sweet spot for value. Like you're gonna get the most features in that price point for your money, and then everything above that is going to be an exponential increase in price for a more minimal value. So you are getting better equipment, but the price goes up a lot for a little bit of added, functionality.
Yeah. My two buddies, Trent and Lincoln, they've been fishing like first generation hydroses for like 12, 15 years, and I mean they've put a lot of bulls on those reels.
Yeah, and hydros is like a
back then. I mean, I'm sure it was even less expensive too. But
$200 reel maybe.
Yeah.
So roughly, depending on what size you get. You recently got a hydros.
Yeah, I got a hydros. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I have a couple. I like my hydros.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that there is it's like a, like a bell curve almost. So it's like where it's like, it gets exponentially better, and then at a certain price point though, it doesn't matter. It is about a status. You know what I mean? Like
like is there going to be a huge
like a painted Able reel? You're going up in price.
That is very clearly
for
the
a paint job.
Yeah.
And there's no extra functionality there. But are those Able reels beautiful?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Would I pay retail for one? No. If I could throw a raffle ticket in a box and win one, I would 100% do that, and I would fish that thing with pride.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, number 3, tenkara fishing can be just as effective as traditional fly fishing. Agree or disagree?
Wait, it can be just as effective?
Yeah, just the wording is tenkara fishing can be just as effective as traditional fly fishing.
Disagree.
I think that one really depends on the water. Like,
Well, and what are you targeting? Like,
I'm going disagree.
disagree. Hard
If he's
disagree.
throwing, a lot of these are blanket statements.
Right.
So if he's going to throw a blanket statement, again, it depends, but I'm going to give a blanket statement answer and say disagree. If tenkara was made for high gradient mountain streams for like small trout fishing,
Yeah.
and so if you're doing that, it can be as effective or more effective than fly fishing. But if you're carp fishing, disagree.
luck.
but you know,
Yeah.
even
If you're red fishing, disagree.
But
Like
even in
in
those-
most other scenarios.
but even in those high mountain streams, like, there's never been a time when I could imagine myself being more successful with a tenkara rod.
Yeah, because you don't have the reach.
Like,
I
there's
don't
just
know.
not, like, I've fished some tiny streams with a lot of coverage, and never once have I been like, oh man, you know what's really a pain in my ass right now? This reel.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you know, like, it just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You know, no, don't get me wrong. I have a tenkara rod. And
I have one
there
too,
is
and I have fished it.
There is a use for it, and it's a lot of that use is mainly when I'm trying to go like super minimal, or it's a very specific. Like, I'm not really on a fishing trip. I'm here just so I can throw something in the water. You know what I mean? And I know it's not gonna be like a huge body of water, but for those very unique situations, I would still have preferred to have a different rod with me. It's just actually traveling with that rod is more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And then just turn your fly rod. Like, if you really want to tenkara that bad, just you can kind of do it with your fly rod. You know, just keep it fixed. You know, don't let any slider. Just kind of fish
Right.
it like
Yeah.
a tenkara rod. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Number 4, fish don't care about the color of your fly line.
I don't know. I haven't tested that one enough. I would say they probably don't care, especially with like a long enough leader.
With a long enough leader, I would agree. In some scenarios where you have to cast over fish, like you don't, you know, a lot of times you fish upstream. So you just want to make sure that you're, you know, not putting your fly line over the fish. I think that comes down to fishing skill and just knowing the scenario and not putting your fly line over a fish and fishing inside out.
Right, because it doesn't matter the color. What ends up scaring them is like the shadow or the
Is the
movement,
shadow
you
of
know
the
what I mean?
movement.
So
yeah.
I don't think the color necessarily matters about it.
Although, I don't know. Would you say that a bright orange fly line versus like an olive green fly line, if we're going to take the two extremes, that's what I would say the two
Right.
extremes would be. Like a bright orange, okay, we're red fishing. Bright orange fly line at the coast versus a light blue fly line.
I think that's when your 1% rule comes into play.
Right.
Yeah.
Like even if I don't know what I'm trying to say.
And again, this
Yeah,
is all,
1%.
it depends.
Yeah.
He's making blanket statements, which I understand because
Right.
you don't want to write 3 paragraphs of explanation for each one.
Right. But if it's worth the
But
extra
I would
effort-
say mostly agree.
Yeah.
Mostly agree that fish don't care about the color of their fly line, but again, it depends.
Well, I've got a lot of experience lining redfish and carp, and I don't know if it had anything to do with the color.
yeah. Lined them with all colors. It's spook to say.
Number 5, trout aren't as fragile as some anglers make them out to be.
I mean, yeah, like you want to take care of the resource. You know what I mean? So like that one's, I don't necessarily know if that's a depends. It's just like if you respect the fish, if you're not planning on eating it, try to give it the best release possible because it does improve the chance of release or the chance
Yeah.
of like living.
I would say trout are hardier than most people think. Like there's trout in the Guad right now after we had this
Yeah,
100
season, yeah.
drought season, 100 degree, like for 40 days of 100-degree weather.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're hardier than most people
Especially small trout.
want you to believe. But then again, also people don't handle them correctly
No.
and jack them up and don't release them. Like
I
if
mean-
you're putting it in your cooler, doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like, you're throwing your cooler. But if you're putting it back out there, then you should do all you can to respect that fish and put it out there in the best possible condition.
But have I seen, trout with osprey marks, and I can only imagine that,
Oh,
a bird grabbed that trout, flew up to the sky, and somehow it fell back into the river. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, yeah, it's probably tougher than we imagine. But we still want to take care of them.
Yeah. Number 6, catching small fish can be just as satisfying as catching large ones.
Yeah, I agree. I'll take that.
The wording just as satisfying.
I think bigger fish are more memorable, but like if I think back, like days in that moment, I am enjoying catching fish no matter what. No matter how big they are, small they are, no matter how many I'm
That's
catching.
a good point. In the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
But now when I think back, I don't think back to all the tiny fish I've caught. I think back to days I've had good number days, those are good days. But I do think back to like when I've caught a good size fish, and that stands out. So now, those moments are more enjoyable. But literally when you're fishing, like I'm just happy to catch fish. I don't care what it is.
Yeah. I think, people, they say that people go through like these stages of being a fly fisherman, right? Where it's like, you got to learn how to catch a fish. Then you want to catch
any fish.
Then
a lot of fish.
Then a lot of fish. And like,
then big fish.
I think where I'm at is, dude, I'm hunting big fish right now. I mean, and that's just kind of my goal at the moment,
and that's a good word there. You said my goal.
Yeah.
Because anytime you do something that's goal-oriented, you're going to be disappointed if you aren't reaching your goals and your expectations. So if your goal is like, I'm going to go out and have a good time, it's satisfying to catch any fish. If your goal is like, I want to catch a 5-pound bass and all you've caught are 6-inch sunfish, and those fish might not be as satisfying.
Yeah.
Like, because would you trade that 5-pound bass for... Like, would you trade all those sunfish?
Like 20 sunfish
for
something?
And the answer would probably be yes. I would trade.
I don't know, man.
You don't know?
I'd take.
That's a good point. Like,
I don't know. I think I'd keep my 6-pounder over
100
sunfish.
That's what I'm
honestly.
saying. Like, would you keep that fish over?
Yeah.
Would you keep that fish over 100 sunfish?
Yeah, absolutely.
But would you rather be skunked for the next 20 times you go out there?
That's interesting there too.
Like, would you take a couple of sunfish every day for 10 times you fish, or would you take one bass, but the next 9 times you're not going to have any fish?
Ooh.
It's too unreal. That's where that gets juicy there.
Right?
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, I don't know.
Because there are those days where it's just like, I just want one little
Right.
blot or
Exactly.
something.
Yeah.
You put on like a little
man,
midge, what are you dumb
Come
kid?
on.
Yeah, it could be day dependent. Like day to day, it's like, man, I'm just throwing like huge game changers today. Dude. Like I don't care. And then other days, like, gosh, I just need a fish,
Yeah,
man.
just
Like
need
my
one,
soul,
man. Like-
my soul needs a
Yes,
fish.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think I'm still in the phase of like I just enjoy catching fish. Like I don't care what size they are. You know what I mean? And so like my favorite fish are like tiny little brook trout. And I can go catch those all day long. Granted, like they're beautiful, but like.
And don't get me wrong, man. Like I'd take my 3-weight out to this little creek all the time, and like I know I'm not going to catch anything big, and that's still total blast. But I think I'm in a different mind frame where like, I know I'm just catching little guys, and it's still a blast. But
Native species should be the focus of conservation, not just popular game fish.
That is a great idea, right? Like in a perfect world, that would be awesome. But the thing is, we don't live in a perfect world where, unfortunately, the only thing that people give a crap about are things that they get excited about, which for most people are game fish, fish that aren't native. So for me, it would be cool to see like all like natural bodies of water stocked or filled or taken care of with native fish. But I don't think that's realistic.
I agree. I think in theory, on paper, writing that down sounds great. But in the real world, that is not what's going to happen. I mean, conservation money is coming from people that enjoy catching game fish. They like catching largemouth bass. Bass fishing is like the biggest fishing money maker. And those people that like catching largemouth bass, their money that they're doing for events and whatever else is going back into that type of conservation. I think the best conservation that we can do is habitat restoration. Like, just take the species out of it. Like, we're losing habitat everywhere for fish. Like, build a neighborhood on a river, habitat loss.
Yeah.
And I think habitat restoration should be the focus, and the fish will come.
Yeah.
And whether that's a game fish or like being able to restore a native species, that's great. But more importantly, the habitat needs to be there first, and then the fish second.
Well, I mean, if you use the Guad for an example, I mean, it's really not that big of a stretch of the river where the trout are, and like how big of an economic impact it has for that
Are you talking
area.
about trout fishing on the Guad?
Trout fishing on the Guad, where it's like, man, it's hard to say you just throw away all the.
Well, and bass and trout can coexist.
Yeah.
The other thing is, how much habitat damage did we do by putting a dam there and then releasing water from the bottom of the lake out of that dam? That water is not the same temperature that it would be in a native situation. So we killed that habitat, and now we have something new. I mean, people love the trout fishing. They put a lot of money into it. A lot of people's lives are supported because of the trout fishing. A lot of people get excited about fly fishing because of trout fishing. A lot of people support Trout Fest, which supports row recovery, casting for recovery. The game wardens, they do research projects. I mean, all of that money gets put back into conservation. I would say overall that's a win.
Yeah, I agree.
Number 8. Fish aren't as selective about matching the hatch as we believe. Agree.
I agree.
Agree. Hard agree.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yep. Dude, I've caught fish on weird. I got story after fish taco, like the flounder fly. Like, I got story after story of me just throwing ridiculous things and catching fish, and it don't matter. Now, at times, and it depends, fish can be persnickety. Me and you went fishing on the Guad one time for trout.
Yeah, got basically skunked.
Basically got skunked.
Yeah, we hooked them, but we skunked.
Yeah, I think I hooked one trout and it came off.
Yep.
So basically got skunked.
They can be temperamental.
But overall, I would say
most of the time when you throw a squirmy in front of one, it's gonna eat it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the squirmy ain't matching no hatch.
No, you're not matching hatch there.
Yeah. Yeah. The best fishing technique varies too much based on personal preference to definitively declare one as superior.
What?
Okay, let's go over that one again.
Okay. The best fishing technique varies too much based on personal preference to definitively declare one as superior.
Do you think this is more casting, or do you think this is more like Euro nymphing versus indicator fishing? I mean, because I guess I
would say Euro nymphing versus indicator fishing, or like Western style fishing versus like Tenkara.
Well, that's situational too. It seems like it's too general.
Yeah, because there's some days. I mean, like,
I don't know. I would say that there are definitely some superior ways to fish.
I mean, that Euro nymphing is pretty damn deadly.
I think it's been proven to be, if you practice and you get good at it, I would say more effective than indicator nymphing.
I would say so, yeah.
So I think you could say that there are some techniques that are superior, for sure. I think you could make arguments. I think you could make strong
for certain
cases.
Types of
fishing,
strong.
Yeah, for certain types of fishing, you can make strong arguments. Catching fish on dry flies isn't the pinnacle of fly fishing achievements.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I actually enjoy indicator fishing or like nymphing. Like
I do too, and I
Like-
don't get why people hate on it so much.
honestly,
man. Like,
me neither. Like it's fun.
Yeah,
It's like
and it's the only time of year
Okay.
that I'm doing that style of like. With
maybe
the
that's
netting
why
and,
we have
like,
a different appreciation for it, because it's like for us, it's like very specific. It's like it's cold outside. We're
Yeah.
trout fishing, like in Texas. Like
Yeah, and I'm
so
never.
it's
you're-
like this unique little situation.
Yeah, you're never
I-
fishing like that any
I-
other time.
no,
you
I
know?
I don't disagree because I like indicator nymphing too. So I'm on the same page with y'all. But I would 100% rather catch a trout on a dry fly than indicator nymphing.
Oh, agreed. But is that the pinnacle of fly fishing achievement too?
No,
Where it's
like-
I
What-
actually,
okay.
don't, I actually don't know if I would take dry fly eats over nymph.
I mean, I would.
Dude, I think you just gave me a heart attack.
Right?
See,
Holy
I'll disagree with you on that. I would rather have a dry fly
Dude.
eat, but
I don't think I care. I want to do what's effective for the trout, and I'm gonna do what is gonna catch me the trout before I even have an opinion on how I'm doing it.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite part about catching a fish?
That's a good question.
Like what part where you're like, man, this is my favorite part. Like anytime I catch a fish, this is like the best
The
part.
fight's pretty fun, but I think the release is probably the best part.
Okay.
Like actually, like having that fish and being like, okay, like we
I
accomplished,
force you.
we accomplished something together.
Yeah.
You know.
See, my favorite part of fishing is the eat and watching the eat and getting that excitement of seeing the fish come up. So for you, you're trying to get to this end goal of releasing the fish. So like the process of getting to that end point doesn't matter for you as much.
Right.
But for me, I like the eat and I like to see it. And when it's indicator nymphing, you don't see it. And so for me, like that's definitely less exciting than
I
than
think,
like watching a trout come up and like softly sip a bug off of a surface and you're just like jazzed up and you have to wait for it to eat the fly and go down before you can set the hook or you just can screw it all up. Like that for me is what gets me jazzed up the most. But like an indicator, it's like boop. It goes, you know, it's like
I think it's also like if I'm gonna watch a fish eat topwater like a bass is exciting. You know what I mean? Like it's like I'm gonna smash that thing and it's gonna be great. Like
And
it might launch out of the water. You know,
one of the best eats when we went fishing, I saw maybe it was Gibson's bass eat.
Oh yeah, that
It wasn't on top water, but you could see he was
but it
fishing
was
a
like
white.
a foot
Dude,
below the
this
surface.
dude
So yeah,
fly freaking.
Yeah,
I
that
wasn't
was
even
awesome.
fishing, dude. And I
That
got
was-
jazzed
that
up.
was awesome.
No, I don't want it to make it seem like I don't care about that part. I do enjoy watching.
See,
the,
but I
right?
care about the release too. But for me, like what gets me jazzed up and excited is the eat. So I'm just trying to like figure out why you don't care if it's like a dry fly. Because in my mind, it's just like clearly obvious. It's better to catch a fish on a dry fly.
Yeah, I'm not a dry fly. Like I would consider myself a trout bum before like a lot of other things, but I'm not a dry fly
purist or
purist,
whatever. Yeah.
I think it's because
I'm not a purist either. I'll fish any method. I don't care.
I think it's because I've caught so many more fish on indicator rigs and stuff like that.
Do you think it's okay? Let me ask you this: do you think it's because you feel more comfortable in your ability to catch fish on an indicator rig?
It might be
and
that-
it
what
increases your
confidence
odds.
thing.
And it might be a confidence thing. Like I know that if I do an indicator rig, like I'm probably gonna catch some fish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas a dry fly, I feel like it's, for lack of a better term, less on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like whereas like if I'm indicator fishing, there's a lot of things I can go through for me to get to the point where it's like, okay, I've done everything I can. Versus like if I'm dry fly fishing, there's only a couple of things I can do where I'm like, I've kind of done everything I can.
Well,
you know what I mean?
it's-
Like there's less in my control. Maybe I have a control issue. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, and a
You
lot
know?
of times dry fly is like kind of situational, at least in my opinion, where it's
Yeah.
like you see them rising and you're like, okay, it's time now to put the dry fly on and go toss over there. Where it's
well,
like,
there's a lot of places you can fish where you're just like you could just fish dry flies all day and just catch tons
for
of
sure,
fish.
for
Right.
sure, yeah.
And I think like for me too, I've only ever had like one for sure, maybe 2 days where it's like that's all I did was just dry fly all day long and just fish after fish. But I've had other days with other methods where I've like had a lot of luck. You know what I mean?
So you're saying indicator is the superior method going back to number 9. I'm just giving you
yeah. But yes, I do.
It's the best method.
I do think it's the superior. For me, it is.
Well, and like it's still exciting. So like when you're fishing an indicator rig and like maybe you drag on the bottom and you set, there's nothing on it, but that time where you set it and there's a fish on that exact moment, that fires you up pretty good.
Oh
man.
yeah,
like,
man! Like you pull it and you're like,
it's oh
yeah,
that's a cool feeling.
I mean, I'm
right?
not saying it's not exciting. I'm just saying like if that's like a 7, having a trout come up and sip a dry fly, just like so.
I guess I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't want to poop on dry fly fishing because I do enjoy it. Like, and I will use it. It's just like I think I'm indifferent. I don't care how I catch the fish. I just want to catch the fish.
See, I'll say this too. I have burned days of redfish where I could have caught 20 redfish, but I was throwing a topwater because I want a redfish on top so bad.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm perfectly okay with that having happened. Like, those days are gone. Those 20 redfish I probably could have caught are gone. But if I would have just had one fish, like in redfish too, because their mouths are down, like they miss it a lot. So like apparently they'll just like watch them and come up because they're like they have to put their like
everything
have to come up, and they kind of have to come down on it. And I'm just like, I want that so bad.
Yeah,
that'd be sweet.
You know, it's funny. John's a little bit of a dry fly purist. Like,
ooh,
every time we go out,
I know I knew I liked John for a good reason.
And we'll go out and he'll be throwing top water like all day long, you know. And I'll be catching a few. And granted, like there's been some times where it's gone the other way, but you know, I'll be catching a few fish, and he'll just be throwing his little like, you know, spider on the top or anything. You know, and he'll get a couple of good eats, a couple of good fish, but it's just funny, you know. Every time I'm like, I don't even have to ask what he's throwing. I know what's on top. Yeah.
What do you? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I will say for like when I am in the creeks and fishing for panfish and stuff, popper all day over. You know, throwing a little jig,
especially if it's good.
You know,
if it's good weather.
Oh yeah, I mean that. You know. Oh
yeah. What do you guys consider your pinnacle fly fishing achievement?
Snapping my H3 a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that was the pinnacle.
Was breaking your rod.
He was breaking my H3.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, you ever heard it?
Dude, I did not hear about that.
Yeah, it was Real Recovery Weekend. John and I were going fishing, and literally we had not gotten the line wet. And he's already rigged up, ready to go, and I'm rigging up. I put it in my, like, on the back part of my Jeep, like in between where my window is raised and the actual, like, body of the Jeep. And I remember putting it there thinking, I got to make sure I grab that before I close my window. And literally, I'm tying on my fly. I'm rigged up. I'm like, all right, John, let's go. I grab my window, slam it down. It goes, and I was like, oh,
that hurts.
Never
dude.
broken a rod in my life.
Oh, that hurts.
It's not ago. If, but when.
Yeah. And it's obviously, it's never on a fish or a tree or anything. It's the window or the car.
Yeah. You were with me when at Blanco State Park.
Oh, yeah, we were going down that chute.
We were going to no Blanco State Park. Were you helping me teach the 301 at Blanco State Park? Where those two ladies, like, they took the 101 class and the 201 class, dude. They were pumped. We were doing a 30, like an on the water class, dude. They could not have been more excited. And we're getting rigged up, and they like rolled their window up on two brand new out of the box fly rods.
Had never fished them.
Never fished them. Yeah.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I broke my that fiberglass rod that I built, the first and only one that I've built. I snapped it.
Oh, you broke your. See, that's why I got out of rod building, dude.
Yeah, it just broke your heart.
Yeah, dude.
How'd you break it?
Car door.
Yep.
It was the day we showed up when I went to go fish with Fatties on the Fly up in the DFW area. It was the day we got there as we're rigging up to go do our very first wade, and so. Brutal.
Oh man, that is the worst.
So is your pinnacle of fly fishing really like
no? It's not breaking my H3, dude. That's the worst day of my life.
Okay, what is your pinnacle?
Oh man.
Or Grant, what is yours? What Zach's thinking?
If you know it, share it.
Maybe my first striper because. I didn't know what I was doing, and I really set my mind into like targeting and catching one
on Canyon.
And it finally happened, but I don't know, man. That's hard to say, dude. I mean, I've had some pretty killer days. on Canyon, you know. But
I think for me it was when Kendall and I went to the Smokies, and I love that Appalachian brook trout, and so like I knew exactly where one was or where one should be, you know, and I cast and I made it not perfect. But then fishing with Kendall, and I was just like dying for her to get one. And I'm like, this is my favorite fish, and I need you to catch one. That way, this can also be your favorite fish. You know,
Nice, hell yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and so
nice.
we're both catching like some browns and some rainbows, and then it was like maybe 30 minutes left of our trip, and she finally caught one. And I was like, I don't know. I think it was like both of us catching it. Like I caught one like an hour before, and then just like
that's cool.
Pretty much at that point, like I was still fishing, but I was like, I'm waiting for her just to catch a brook trout, you know, because I want her to. Because when I caught mine, she didn't see it. She wasn't near me.
Yeah.
And so she did. So that was a pretty cool moment.
That is cool. That is cool.
But I mean, you know, first redfish is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
The striper that I did not know anything about fish. And I'm pretty sure it was still a striper.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. I went out.
Like 70% sure?
I know. I'm probably like 90% sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because I went out like it was early on to fly fishing, and I didn't do a lot of fishing as a kid. You know, like I knew like largemouth bass and
This
perch.
story's a little bit disputed, but go on.
It is disputed, it is. Right? And so like I went out fishing by myself. I just started fly fishing, and I threw a little clouser, and I see you know a striper come out from a rock, and it's chasing it. It's probably that big, you know, and I catch it, I hook it. I'm so excited, and I think it's a guad because I'd never seen a guad or a striper really. You know what I mean? Like I'm
brand new,
yeah.
dumb at fish identification outside of like panfish and largemouth bass. You know,
yeah.
And so I get in my net, and I'm like, oh man, I've only been out here for like 15 minutes. I caught a guad, you know, and so I'm like, I'm not gonna take a photo of this one because I'm gonna go catch a bigger one and take a photo of that one. You know?
Oh, so there's
so that's the issue because I was like, oh man, this is easy.
We're gonna get a bunch of these.
Exactly. right. And so so I released it, and it was not that easy. And then like the next day I found out, oh, that was not the guad, that's a striper.
Yeah.
So
or maybe a wiper or something.
Yeah.
I think it might have been a hybrid.
Yeah.
It definitely was not a white bass for sure because it was like
longer.
It was longer and cylindrical and not like you know, panfish shape.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, that's why it's disputed because
honestly,
because he even admitted his fish identification was not good, and there's not a photo.
There's not a photo. I know for sure it was not a white bass because it was too big to be a white bass.
Yeah,
I have ate a little bit of humble pie and said maybe it could be a hybrid.
Yeah,
but I still think it's a striper. And I'm gonna tell myself that I caught a striper before I caught a guad. So.
That's cool.
Yeah. But it's awful at the same time.
Yeah.
And you know.
They're never going to let you live it down.
No, no, exactly. And so like, and I've never caught another one since. And so now I'm like, that's my goal.
Didn't you catch it somewhere that like it kind of shouldn't have been?
Well, the white bass I caught where it shouldn't. But
okay.
I mean, like I caught the striper on the guad. It was upper guad.
Okay.
Right. But I caught the white bass like in a spot that wasn't, you know.
Yeah, known for that. Yeah. Oh, maybe bull red. I think might be.
Yeah.
That was by far the most gnarly fight I've ever been in. That's probably pinnacle, I'd say.
Yeah,
that's
nice.
a good one.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your pinnacle?
Yeah.
Probably my permit.
Yeah, I mean I could see that.
Also, I'm still pretty pumped up on the koi I caught.
Yeah, I'd be pumped about the koi.
But the koi, like, I don't know, is a little bit different because it's like I fish at that spot a lot. I cast at the koi a lot. It's like feels like there's a lot of opportunities.
It's like a resident koi.
It's just like but a lot of people fish out there, and everybody always casts at the koi. So it's kind of like, oh, I have a funny story about that. Actually. So I gave a presentation last weekend to the Kerrville Fly Fishing Club, and the first thing I showed up, like I posted a video.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. I was like, in case you are wondering, I'm the one who got the koi. You guys, like just like rubbing it in. Like that's how I opened. I was just like rubbing it in. I was
on
like
a
rubbing it
slideshow,
in.
it's the first picture, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was a video. It was a video.
Oh
I was
man,
like, dude,
I was just dropped the mic, and be like,
I was
I'm out.
I was just
I
like,
wasted everybody's time.
That's the presentation.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was like giving it to him like from the beginning. So,
Oh man, you totally.
yeah,
That's
it
great.
was great. It wasn't even complete. It was in no way related to the presentation I was giving. It was like first slide, like, in case you're wondering, I'm the one that caught the koi. Boom.
I know.
Here's the video.
I know you had to have been jazzed up, and I know I'm probably not the only one you called either, because you called me after that, and you're like,
Yeah.
dude, you won't believe it.
Yeah. Have you fished? Do you know where I caught it?
I know where you caught it. I've never fished there, though.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Yeah.
I took you. You went with me there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I'm hoping to get on it this year.
Yep. So, yeah, but that kind of felt like, I had a lot of opportunities. If it didn't happen then, it could have happened in the future. I just kind of waited for the right moment when it was feeding, and it happened. But the permit was just like, I worked my ass off for that fish. I was running, like, to try to catch up to schools of fish and just make it, like, I worked.
Did you didn't catch it from a boat?
No, waiting.
What?
We got it, like, there was like a school and on this flat. And so we got out of the boat. We waited up to him, make a cast. And, dude, they would, like, take off. We were, like, they'd stop somewhere else. We're, like, running.
Wow.
This went on for, like, 30, 45 minutes before I hooked one of just chasing this school around on foot.
Okay, well, I'm picking that's your pinnacle.
So,
Yeah, right.
like,
Yeah.
the amount of work
That's
that went
awesome.
into it.
Yeah,
and we
that
were,
is
like,
cool.
changing flies while we were running.
Dude,
like, okay, that fly, he's like, and it was, he's like, I was making cast Y. I was, like, running / walking too. And
that's some running down the man type shit,
dude. And I made a lot of bad
Yeah.
I made a lot of bad casts, but I made a good cast into the school with a fly that they liked, and it was game on.
Was
So,
it a pretty good one, or what kind of size range was it, out of curiosity?
like, I think they said like 15 to 17 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So
Real good one.
not a 30-pounder,
Yeah.
but also not a dinner plate. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like this. So
Yeah.
like, believe
Awesome
me,
fight.
I am not disappointed.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was super nervous during the fight. And I
Yeah.
normally don't get nervous. I'm like pretty confident fighting fish. But I was really nervous because we had changed, because I had made so many casts at the school already and they weren't eating. We changed to like 8-pound test tippet.
Oof.
And
Sketchy.
I mean, dude, I got a fish on 8-pound, but at the same time, I was like, man, like, I don't know. I was like nervous because like I wanted to put the brakes on the fish at some points. Like I was like, man, I need to. This thing was just screaming at some points. Man, I need to put the brakes on it. But I was like, man, it's 8-pound. This is like we could tell it was a pretty big fish. And I was like, man, I don't. So I was just like nervous because I didn't want to lose the fish, and I didn't want to put a ton of pressure on it. So it was just kind of like,
There's probably no like cover it could run into. Or
there was no
anything,
cover
right?
it could run to. We were like on a sand flat, so there was no like coral or anything like that. But I watched another guy put slack in his line in the middle, like 10 minutes into fighting a permit, put slack in the line and lost his fish.
Oof.
So I'm like, when you have the drag crank down more, you're less likely to put slack in the line.
Right.
So when you put the brakes on a fish, less likely to have slack. And so I really wish I had I think I originally had like 16-pound on or something, maybe 12-pound. And I really, like, with that heavier weight, I feel like I could have. Also, I had broken a permit off before that, the day before, and I was fishing from a boat that day.
Yeah.
So again, I was just like kind of nervous. But no, that fish, because I worked, like the story behind catching it and like chasing the school down and like was sweet. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's really cool. Can't wait to do that someday, man.
dude,
Sounds
it's
awesome.
It's fun, dude. Even bone fishing is.
Oh yeah, dude.
Dude, you got to go down and just like slay bonefish when they're super fun.
Oh
fish.
yeah.
Yeah.
I tell everybody that story. Gibson went on his first Belize trip and caught a bunch of bonefish, and he changed his Instagram handle to Bonefish in Harmony.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
So I got another thing we can discuss, and we probably discussed this a year ago, Zach, the top 10 U.S. college towns for fly fishing.
Oh yeah, but this is stupid.
It is stupid.
Yeah,
That's why we should discuss it.
It's the worst list I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's the worst. Yeah, this is why we should discuss it.
No, it's gonna be like Phoenix, Arizona.
All right, number 1, University of Colorado in Boulder.
I mean, yeah, I get it. It's pretty great.
Understandable.
I enjoy fishing Boulder.
Yeah,
There's a lot of easy access, and there's a lot of access within like an hour drive too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to put Colorado somewhere like Colorado school's got to be top 3.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
don't
fair.
dispute it.
No, yeah, honestly, I get it. Like if I went to Boulder, like I'd be fishing pretty much every day.
Yeah.
And relatively easily.
Okay, number 2, Montana State University.
Yeah.
Again,
Okay.
Yeah.
makes sense.
I get
I
it.
would probably trade Montana State for you, like switch the 1 and 2 spot, but
Really?
I'm not. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, because when I think college towns for fly fishing, when I think of University of Colorado Boulder, I don't think fly fishing.
What do you think?
Right now, think football.
Yeah. Dion.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't think of Boulder as like either like the Colorado, like the pinnacle of Colorado fly fishing either. So like for me, it just like I get it. It's Colorado. You have to put it on the list. But to me, when I think Montana, I think fishing. And so that's
Maybe
why
'cause
I
I've only
would
fished
say
Montana like once or twice, or like one time, But I feel like as a college kid, it would be easier to fish in Boulder than it would to be in Montana, just because Montana feels like so big and Boulder feels like everything's right there. You know what I mean?
There are definitely 2 states that are iconic for
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
I'm not
Again,
gonna
I
push
come like
back
you. I
on
guess.
it.
Yeah.
1 and 2. Like
Yeah.
I'm not.
If
super,
those were flipped, I'd be like, I get it.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, number 3, University of Miami.
Yeah. No.
Dude. Man, have you heard?
I don't think of fly fishing when I think university. I mean, Miami, you think fly. I don't really think fly fishing when I think Miami.
peacock bass,
Peacock
and
bass?
bonefish?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, but-
there are opportunities.
There's
But number
opportunities.
3?
But number.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it just depends on if you're a big saltwater guy or not. But
Yeah, that's true. Maybe they felt that they need to put a saltwater.
if a college kid has a boat or not.
That's
Okay.
the thing, right?
Well,
Like,
let me ask you this: do you guys think University of you're saying college kid? Do you think about what is it down in Corpus?
A&M Corpus Christi.
A&M Corpus Christi, dude. Everybody I know that went to A&M Corpus Christi was a fishing bum. I
Yeah.
went to school here to go fishing.
Right.
Yeah,
And then but when I think of University of Miami, like how many people are going to Miami to go fishing?
Yeah.
Football, girls, beach,
Columbia.
Miami, nightlife.
yeah.
I think of those things when I think about
Yeah.
Miami, but I
wouldn't
don't
put a top 3.
I would say like Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Like, dude, do you guys know people that went there? Because, dude, literally everybody I know that went there literally is
Yeah,
like,
they
I
all-
went,
Yeah.
I came here because I wanted to fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
Number 4, University of Montana in Missoula.
Okay.
Perfectly fair.
Not gonna push back.
Number 5, Penn State University.
Okay.
I also agree.
Yep. I get it.
I don't know enough about that area, but I'm assuming
There's
It's
fly
just-
fishing.
It's
yeah,
mountains.
yeah.
Like it's
I'm sure
everywhere
And-
within an hour
Penn
drive.
State has a fly fishing class at the university
Oh,
that you
that's
can
cool.
take,
Yeah.
like an actual class for credit.
Yeah.
Number 6, University of Texas, Austin.
See,
Yeah.
that I'll push back there. If they would have said Texas State, I would have gone. with
That's
it, but-
where I'm
Right?
at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am, and they did this on the.
Like nobody's going there to fish. You know what I
No,
mean?
No, nobody's going to UT to fish, and if you're a student, like,
But I feel like I know people who went to Texas State who are like, oh yeah, I fished every opportunity.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
there's a very good argument. I would not be fly fishing if I didn't go there.
Yeah.
yeah. But UT Austin just doesn't
No,
make,
it doesn't
doesn't
make-
make sense.
No. I mean, like, yes, the campus is next to water, but I mean, like, if that's the stipulation, then there's a lot of other schools before.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll push back on that one.
Number 7, Oregon State University.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know enough, but I know there's plenty of fly fishing in Oregon. So, number 8, University of Georgia in Athens, Georgia.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I could.
You're not far
Small-
from the Smokies.
yeah.
You're not far from a lot of the big rivers just west of it.
Yeah.
Probably some good smallmouth.
But
out there.
again, I feel like if you're a college kid, like you don't have a ton of time to drive like super far every weekend. You know,
Yeah, is that our deal? Is like you have it like needs to be like fishing needs to be in town.
for me to be a college fly fishing campus means that like I can get out of class and go fish, or like even in between classes, I can find a way to fish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's like Texas State. Boulder, like those are the schools that I think of. And again, I don't know enough about Montana, but those are the states I'm thinking of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like where I got to make an effort to get in a car and drive
2 hours or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you might have Pinnacle fly fishing a couple hours away, but
yeah. University of Alaska is number 9.
okay,
I get it.
And then number 10, Sewanee, the University of the South,
where's that at?
Sewanee, Tennessee.
Oh, I
What
mean, like
part
if
of
it's
Tennessee?
near
Is it
Knox,
close?
if it's near like Pigeon Forge or Sevierville, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's near, well, actually, you know what? Tennessee has a lot of good fishing throughout the whole state, like whether that's smallies or trout.
Yeah. Who's missing from the list? Is there anything?
I keep hearing Appalachian State up there in North Carolina is
I could see
incredible.
that. Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
pretty close to Smokies. And,
Uh-huh.
and if you wanted to do a coast trip, you could do it in a couple hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I could see that.
Oregon made it, but there's not a Washington school on the list.
Okay.
Washington State or something like that. Like they have a lot of. They have. I mean, there's fishing everywhere in Washington. So
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I don't know, but BYU they have a lot of fishing near Salt Lake City,
I would imagine.
right?
Yeah.
yeah,
I would imagine.
yeah,
The Wildfly guy moved to Utah, right?
Oh yeah.
To be closer to
Right.
a lot of fishing,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And so I was talking with somebody recently that California is like one of the most underrated fly fishing states because I don't know, maybe it's just not quite as popular there, but I mean there's definitely
Like
the rivers and land and
Right,
that
everyone's
kind
on
of
the West Coast,
Yeah.
but if you go to like Central Northern
Yes.
California, there's a ton of actually like moving
Yeah.
water.
Mhm.
And,
Well,
yeah.
you have golden trout in the mountains, and you have like mako shark fishing
Yeah.
off the coast. And I don't think the steelhead runs are in California like they are in Oregon and Washington, but I think there's some opportunity for steelhead in California. The problem there is I mean, it's not really a problem, but California's so big like Texas is. It's like all of those 3 types of fishing are like so far
Far away,
apart
yeah.
from each other. I feel like we're pretty lucky. Like, okay, we can go trout fishing, we can go bass fishing, we can go
Coast
red fishing
yeah.
in like 2.5 hours or less.
Right.
And most of the college towns in California, I guess, are in like bigger cities. Where,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as in or
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, I don't get some of them, and I think UT, I think San Marcos should replace UT.
Yeah, for sure. Here's some pushback on some of those more northern schools. You can't really fly fish year round.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you take that into account?
Well, and here's the other thing. When is school out? During peak fly fishing time for the northern schools. So summer is during peak trout fishing. Now, with that being said, the other argument side of that is a lot of college students are guides during the summer in their
Sure.
college towns.
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys that are really into it, like I know, like if you go to like University of Wyoming and Laramie, like college students like they're really into it. They guide all summer.
Yeah,
They stay up there and
sure.
they guide. So
You're not fishing in January though.
No.
Yeah,
You know,
No,
you don't
not-
even have that opportunity.
yeah. San Marcos though, dude,
Yeah, if
year
you're
round,
fishing year round, baby.
year round.
That's right.
We should write to Fly Lords. Like,
Listen, you missed clearly the number one.
I would say number 1. I would say UT is at number 6. Probably should be 5, 6, 7 in there. If I'm being honest, and
And
not
UT should
having
be off the list.
favoritism, UT should be off the list.
Yeah.
It's not a fly fishing school.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Nope. But neither is Tech, and that's okay. But Texas State,
It's a carp fishing school though.
apparently.
Tech.
We're done, like,
Yeah.
honestly, like carp fishing 101 there. Apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, all right, Grant. Let's talk about you. This is one of the wildest stories I've ever heard. What has been okay? I'll let you tell the story because you're going to tell it more detail than I will.
Okay, so I'm assuming you're asking about the kitten.
The kitten.
Yeah. Okay.
Clearly the kitten.
Yeah.
That's what all the Instagram. Oh, actually, before you tell the story, so like I posted on Instagram, like what question? Like half of the responses were like, needs to tell the cat story. Of course, that's why we're having you on.
For sure.
The other thing was
that is it. That's the only reason.
The other thing is that I put the way I worded my question.
Oh, I noticed it. I need some dope.
No. So it was like, what Grant is on the podcast. What are some dope questions? But I used the question mark or what?
Yeah, you just put a bunch of question marks. So
and,
it sounded
and people are like,
what
I got
is the
messages
dope?
like, what? Like I know a guy. Like somebody I know a guy, and it's like, yeah, I know where you guys could find some.
I get it from you, Dante.
Yeah. So anyway, but everything else was regarding the cat. So
yeah. So I'll preface it by that trip that I caught my big bass on was exactly 2 weeks prior, when we were getting at the takeout. We did hear and find 2 kittens that day. They both got taken and rescued.
That was 2 weeks.
2 weeks prior.
So you found kittens before.
Yes, 2 weeks prior we found 2 kittens, and I'm assuming this kitten that I found had to have been from the same litter, but he cruised a pretty good ways upriver. So on this most recent float, Champion and I we're probably 500 yards from the takeout, and we just start hearing some meowing out of some tall grass, and we're on the other side of the river. I look over, and there's this little kitten meowing its butt off and starting to kind of walk down the bank for us, and I'm like, dude, I start reeling in, and I'm like, dude, we're gonna have to go get that cat. And so before we could even put the rod away, the kitten gets into the water and swims all the way to us, right into the palm of my hand.
That's so weird, dude. Cats don't swim.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very odd. It must have been extremely desperate to get out of its situation, or I'm sure it hadn't eaten in a while. I could tell because the ribs were poking out, and
poor guy.
Yeah, and I put her in my lap, and she was just kind of instantly glued. Luckily, we didn't eat all of our turkey sandwich, so we got her fed, and after that, she kind of just settled in. She would sit on my lap and then maybe go explore around the boat a little bit, and then come back to my lap. And the timing's kind of unusual. I lost my dog of 13 years in March, so I've been kind of companionless since then, and the timing was just kind of perfect. And I'm in a situation where, honestly, even if I did want to take this cat to the shelter, I think the New Braunfels shelter's full anyway, so I'm kind of like, well, I guess I'm a new cat owner now, man.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you like cats, if you're going to have an animal, like when you go on trips that you can leave, that's the way to do it.
For sure.
But, dude, it sounds like this cat's going to want to go fishing with you, dude.
I know, man.
Really.
Yeah. She's so good. And, like Lauren's cat, most cats I don't think really like to be in the car. And this one's totally cool. Like, she just sits on my lap.
Dude, my cats don't like being in the car, dude. They flip out, dude.
So we're already past that,
Yeah, dude, we got to put them in we got to trap them in a crate in the house and then carry them to the car in the crate.
Yeah.
Does the cat have a name yet?
So I've narrowed it down.
Okay.
Zach Harris, his suggestion was Bug. That's up there.
I like that name.
Bug's cute.
Yep.
It was on without going into too much detail, it was on the Guadalupe, so I'm also thinking about Lupe.
Oh yeah.
I'm personally a fan of Lupe. That's where I stand.
And see, it's about half and half.
Actually, I like Rio the best, but you said there's already a cat named Rio.
A Rio and a River.
Yeah.
That I know. So
Rio,
go that route.
That's a good cat name, Rio.
Yeah.
And so I'm just gonna kind of let it marinate for a little bit longer, and then I'll decide on one when it feels right.
Be like my brother and just call it Kitty.
Yeah, that original, right? Yeah, I had a cat named Kitty growing up.
Yeah, that's literally. He was like, we don't know. They had it for like 3 weeks and like just calling it Kitty. He was like, I guess that's its name. It's just gonna be Kitty now.
Yeah, and
Nice.
she's just glued. Man, it's like you know, I was never really like the hugest cat person. I don't know their personalities that well, but my girlfriend Lauren is, and she's like kind of amazed at how sweet and like, I don't know, I guess it just attached this cat is to me, man. I mean, she's just like glued to me. Anywhere I go, she's just like following me around, screaming at me to pick her up, and she tries to sleep on my face, which is why I'm breaking out right now. I wake up in the middle of the night and she's attacked my foot, and like just weird cat things like that. Yeah. It's just been fun, but yeah, I'm grateful for her. I'm a proud cat owner now. But
did you ever think you would have it? Like, if it was up to you, would you have ever had a cat before? Or is it because this cat pretty much adopted you that now you're a
I
cat?
think that's probably more the case. I don't know if I would have ever gone out of my way to go get a kitten, but it's kind of one of those weird things, man. It's like, I'm happy it happened, but I don't think I would have ever done it really before. Mm-hmm. I immediately got her a little cat tree. I've got her some toys, and she's already spoiled, so she's in good hands.
Are you planning on taking her to, like, when you go fishing? Like,
yeah, so I got her a harness. From what I understand, I need to get her used to her harness, and maybe walking around a little bit and taking her on small walks. And
dude, you're gonna be one of those guys.
Dude, I know, it's so weird. I never thought I'd be that. Like,
dude, you're gonna be the walking the cat guy, bro. Bro.
I know, it's weird,
dude.
But
that's funny though.
I don't know,
man. People I think, man, that's kind of weird. That dude's walking a cat.
That dude's weird. I know.
Hey, man, but you know what? When you're like out hiking, you see the person walking the cat, you're always a little bit like, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
that's cool.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not gonna try to force anything. If this cat is willing to do it, I mean, I'll take her around, take her on the kayak or something.
Yeah, dude. Heck, do it, dude. That's awesome.
And a lot of this stuff too, it's like a lot of the times when I'm fishing off of other people's boats too. So I feel a little weird kind of imposing a cat on somebody else's boat. Dude, it's like, hey, dude, I'm going to bring my cat, man. Like,
dude, your cat's welcome on my boat.
Oh, hell yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, she's been quite a superstar, man. I was fortunate enough to get some pretty good pictures of her when we first found her and posted those, and people are reaching out with really nice things to say about thank you for doing that, and just she's kind of a little rock star already.
Yeah.
She's pretty famous.
Yeah. And by the way, I think it's a she. I've heard a lot of stories.
Dude, we were talking about that earlier, because we talk about our conversation again. I said, dude, are you sure? Because we thought Copper was a girl. And nope, he was a boy. Like, we were sure he was a girl. Yeah. And like a couple weeks later,
there's not like a dingle dangle.
Nope, he was a boy.
It's still too small of a kitten, I think. The nuts haven't dropped yet, so it's kind of hard to tell. And it's so weird. I feel so
hard
weird.
To tell, dude.
Like, me and Lauren are just like looking at YouTube videos of freaking cat anuses trying to figure this out.
Like, you feel anything? Yeah,
poor kitten.
I mean, that's cool. I'm happy when people are cat people, but I'm just not.
You're allergic.
Yeah, I'm just not. I love kittens, but like when cats get bigger, I'm allergic to them, and I think I just had bad experiences growing up with cats, and I just can't.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah. Well, dude, that's a sweet story, man.
Yeah. It's meant to be, man. She found me.
That is awesome, though. Like the fact that she actually like swam.
That was, dude. It was heartbreaking, dude. Just seeing the desperation, you know.
I'm gonna love you forever. It's okay.
But yeah, she's cute.
Have you taken her to the vet at all?
Not yet. No, that'll be next week. And I need to figure out how old she needs to be before I get her fixed. And
dude, she can be a brewery cat. You can take her to the brewery.
No, we already have a brewery cat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't want to be worried about her running off or running into the street or something or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, Ironfly this is the last episode. Okay.
This Saturday is Ironfly.
This Saturday is Ironfly.
As you are listening to this right now,
the 21st
of October is Ironfly.
It's at your place of employment.
It is.
Tell us about
Faust Brewing Company.
I've
in
got
New
it down. I've
Braunfels,
got it down
Texas.
now.
Yeah,
I'm past that.
Yeah. I noticed you've been doing a lot better with that. Yeah.
Faust Brewing Co.
Yeah. No, I got it. I know what it is.
Because you're adding a street in there, right?
Faust Street Brewery. Yeah.
Faust Street Brewery is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Don't say it though, because I might revert to my old ways.
Faust Street Brewing Co. No,
Yeah.
No.
Faust Brewing Co.
Faust Brewing Co. There we go.
Oh,
What's
man.
the address?
499 South Castell Avenue. And we've got a recently renovated beer garden. We're gonna have a bluegrass band jamming. Gonna have tattoo artists. It's lining up to be a hell of an event. So
Yeah.
Yep.
The beer garden's nice, too.
thank you. Yeah.
There could be some great food. You got any special releases? Any special release beer you're gonna do?
Well, we've got a cherry wheat beer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
We'll have that on tap.
Nice.
Yeah.
Plus all the staples, I'm sure.
Plus all the staples, all the regulars, and then just for people who don't know, we've got a full bar, and we do offer like other breweries beer that's not our own. We have some guest beer, we have the staple domestics and that kind of thing, because we are kind of more. We're not just a brewery; we're kind of a bar brewery now. So
Cool.
got options for everybody.
Nice.
If your lady drinks wine or whatever, maybe she'll still be good.
Man, I drink wine.
Dude,
Man,
we-
Oh, yeah, dude, I'm gonna
I'll
have
go
to
to a
keep-
brewery and drink
Yeah,
wine.
I have to
You
keep
guys got
Zach away
you
from
guys
the
got
wine.
Welch's.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. You guys make sure you got plenty.
Yeah. At least
Yeah.
2 bottles worth.
At least.
So, Ironfly this Saturday. If you want to compete for fly tying and get a hat, you guys have seen the hats.
Yeah, they're
What
cool.
do you guys
They
think?
are. They're awesome. Rope
Dude, I'm
hats.
excited.
If you guys want a hat, you need to sign up in advance online. The link is in the podcast description. You can also go to honeyholeangling.com and click on Ironfly, and you can sign up in advance. That will guarantee you a hat. I've already been messaged on Instagram about, man, I'm sorry I can't make it, but I really want a hat. Here's what we're going to do. If hats are left over after the event, then we will put the remaining hats on our website, and I'll set up the shipping and everything so that way you can purchase it and we can ship it to you. But there's no way, if you sign up on the event form and you don't show up to the event, there's no way that we're going to be able to ship it to you.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
That's what I was my question.
Because
was like,
I have to set up shipping on the website for the item, and you'll have to pay for shipping because you'll have to pay for
Yeah,
shipping.
that was
You
my-
need to pay for shipping.
Yeah.
I can't have like 30 hats that we're paying for shipping.
Yep.
So,
That was my
because
question. I was
the
like, yeah,
money
able
from
to.
these hats is going to real recovery.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah. There's no profit from the hats for us.
Yeah.
It is going straight to
Yeah,
the
no
recovery.
profit from us for the hats. I'll do the work. I will box them for you and do all that kind of stuff. But let's get past the event. I'll put them up on the website, and then if you want to buy them from the website after the event, there'll be if there's any left over, that's where they're going to be.
Right.
So if you can show up to the event and you want a hat, you can purchase one at the event, or you can sign up in advance right now on the website for the fly tying competition and get yourself a hat
And guarantee it. Yep.
and guarantee it.
And I
So-
mean, I guess if you signed up and you had a buddy like, "Hey, grab my hat," are we doing that too?
as long as the spot's paid for and somebody's like, hey, my buddy signed up and he wanted me to grab his hat, I'll do that.
Cool.
Yeah. I just won't ship any hats right now
Yep.
until it's set
the
up.
event.
Yeah,
No
until it's set up.
shipping.
But
hats.
if you have a buddy that's showing up and you want a hat, go ahead and have your buddy grab you a hat.
Nice.
So,
Nice job on the logo.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Good.
yeah, dude, it looks great.
I liked it. I
And
like.
the hats look good too, man.
I'm really
The-
excited about the hats.
Dude,
I
the
like
rope
it.
hats, dude.
And I like the color combination. Like the logo just stands out. The hat's
pops.
bright.
Yeah.
Pops. Looks good.
Yeah. We're going to have a lot of great we're going to have a live auction. And
Yep.
Evan, you guys remember Evan from the podcast? If you're old listeners,
Good old Evan.
yeah.
good old Evan is going to be doing our live auction. He's going to be emceeing the event.
Heck
So he's doing Mary's Mountain Cookies. Mary's Mountain Cookies, right?
Mm.
Y'all should follow his Instagram. 'cause
Dude, it's
Oh,
great.
yeah,
It
it
is
is so
amazing.
funny.
Dude, it's so funny.
Yeah. He kills it.
So I just live
Yeah.
behind the scenes of a guy who owns a cookie shop.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah.
And he's always got these kids in there because I guess
Right.
he's by like a middle or high school or something. So he got all these kids messing with him all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like you get a little peek
Yeah.
inside how it works. You're
Yeah.
like, oh man, that's great.
Yeah, dude.
So we got that going on. Lots of great donations from great sponsors. Green donated a Yeti cooler. We're getting a Blackstone donated. So if you want to walk away with a Blackstone, I kind of want to walk away with a Blackstone.
Yep. And do you have to be there to win?
You have to be present.
Okay.
That's
Even
correct.
for the silent auction.
There is no silent auction.
Okay.
You need to be participating in the live auction to win the live auction.
Perfect. Perfect. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
we're
there
only
is
having-
no silent auction. We are only doing raffles, and we are only doing
Deck a card.
we're doing a deck of card raffle for the rod, for one of the rods, and then we're doing a live auction.
So, okay. One deck of card raffle,
Yes.
and everything else is going to live auction.
No. We have raffles,
Mm-hmm.
tickets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, go.
Okay. Then we have a deck of card raffle. There's going to be one of those.
Yes.
And then everything else is going to be a live auction.
Perfect.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm very
If that
excited.
was confusing for y'all, come to the event.
We'll straighten it out.
we'll straighten it
I
out.
feel like it's not confusing now.
Okay,
When
okay,
yeah.
okay,
This last
okay.
time that you explained it.
Yeah, it'll be very clear at the event.
Yes.
So, yeah. But yes, be present to win. We hope that you come out and you spend your whole time there.
And what are the hours?
Starts at 2 p.m. Your flies need to be turned in by 7 p.m.
Okay.
and the event will end by 9 p.m. So here's what's going to happen. You can come as early as 2. You can start tying your fly. You can spend 10 minutes on it. You can spend 3 hours on it. It doesn't matter. It needs to be turned in by 7 p.m.
So they
You
show
could
up
come at
6
6
o'clock.
p.m.
Okay.
You could show up at 6 p.m. Your fly needs to be turned in by 7 p.m. At 7 p.m., we're cutting off the fly tying, and we're going to show a film that Grant and I and Zach Harris, and we had help from Mike Torres,
Mm-hmm.
that we made about real recovery. Did we decide on a name of the film? We talked about a name.
Yeah. I don't think we ever came up with one, though.
To be determined at the event.
To be
Yeah.
determined at the event. But we're going to show, it's about 15-minute film about real recovery. We filmed at a retreat. We're going to show that. Someone from Real Recovery is going to talk about their experience with real recovery. Then we are going to move into the raffles, do all the raffle drawings. Then we're going to do the live auction. Then we're going to announce the winners, and then it's done.
And assuming all that,
Latest it'll end is 9.
right. But I'm assuming like all the auctions and raffles and stuff will probably be over around 8:15, and then 45 minutes to hang out before it goes.
Yeah, probably.
Cool.
Yeah. So I've gotten this question a lot, like when is the event? Event start time is 2 p.m. That's when you can start tying flies. If you want to show up earlier, great. We'll be there setting up and making sure everything's ready. If you're like, man, I can only get away for a couple hours, I would say 5 to 9 is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Is when you want to be there.
Come spend your evening with us at
Yeah.
the brewery.
Yeah, if you're looking, because I've had like family, like I can only come for a couple hours. Like when should I come? Like 5 to 9
Right.
is the sweet
If you
spot.
plan on tying, just a little bit.
That's
before
4
7.
hours. That'll get you some live music. That'll get you dinner. That'll get you some beer. Then you can participate in the raffles. You can participate in the auctions. You can watch the film, be a part of the event.
Yep.
That's the sweet spot.
Okay. So
Yeah.
like those first couple hours is kind of just hanging out,
Tying flies. Yeah.
Yep. So
Live
if
music.
if you're gonna go there just for like the structured stuff, get there 5 to 9.
5 to 9, I would
Perfect.
say. Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep. So, and come out. Be ready to spend some money. Real Recovery needs some money. And
Yeah, because that's the whole point why we're doing this.
yes,
For real recovery.
100% of the proceeds are going to Real Recovery. So every raffle ticket you buy, that is money going to Real Recovery. It costs $800 roughly for each participant to go through a retreat. That is, I promise you, that is the best $800 you'll ever spend. I'm not saying you have to spend $800, but like that's
If you
$800
help, yeah.
if you can help contribute to that. We have a goal of $10,000, which pays for a full retreat. So, but if you can help contribute to that, putting one person on a retreat in any way, that one person's life is changed forever, and they are extremely grateful for being able to go on the retreats. And so 100% worth the money. And you buy some raffle tickets, you buy a card from a deck of cards, you bid on some stuff in an auction, you're probably going to walk away with some gear.
Yeah.
And you also made a donation to Road Recovery. So
Win-win.
Win-win. And if you don't, you got to see us. If you don't win, if we don't draw your raffle ticket, you got to hang out with me, Zach, and Grant.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with drinking beer and have a good time.
Yeah,
with you.
and that was worth every penny that you.
Right. I mean,
yeah.
like, realistically, that's probably what I was going to do on Saturday anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
with people you like.
Grant, would you comment on the only downside of having the event at your brewery is parking? And I don't want people to be confused about the situation and all of that. So would you explain the parking situation for your brewery?
Yes. So basically, we are on the street that is the dividing line for what is considered the downtown area of New Braunfels. If you are within the downtown area, you are not required by the city to have parking lots. So we do not have like kind of a formal parking lot, but the major street, Castile Street, you can park all along that street. And then literally 1 block away is the convention center, and they've got a nice big parking lot there. And might just have to get a little creative. And
on our Instagram page, we could probably put up a map of like maybe Faust and where the convention center parking is too.
Yeah, maybe we could do like a Google map or something and then highlight.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
we can. I'll throw it together. That way we can post it up on.
That would be great. You're gonna do that?
Yep.
Perfect.
Another thing
Thanks,
too is the hair salon on Saturdays. If we have big events, whenever they close early on Saturdays. They usually allow us to have all of our overflow parking over there too. So
hair salon,
opens
the main street. And then the convention center.
Yep.
Yeah, because like by the brewery only has like 5 or 6 spots.
Yeah,
right
on the Butcher Street. So it falls at the corner of Butcher Street and Castile. Butcher Street is kind of a one-way, smaller street that not as much parking there. But on the Castile side, there's plenty.
Okay, good.
And we've had big 300-plus person events, and people just kind of figure it out.
Yeah. Yep.
So just be aware of that. We'll have fly tying. Obviously, the materials are going to be provided.
Mm-hmm. Vices will be provided, but you can bring your own vice and tools if you would like.
Yeah.
But you cannot use any materials except for the things we give you.
That's correct. That is correct. And
how much is it to participate?
$30.
$30.
That gets you a hat.
And that gets you a hat.
And a chance to win a belt buckle.
Heck yeah.
And if you don't want to tie flies, but you still want a hat, it's still $30.
Yes.
So you might as well just tie the fly then.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. Unless you're like, I got no clue what to do, but try your best.
Yeah, try it.
I can't wait for the belt buckles to come in, man.
So is it
I'm excited.
Isn't there like a beginner and then more experienced division? So that,
there's going to be a beginner division and an advanced division.
And we're not going to share what places them in that yet, right? We don't want people practicing, or are you going to share it?
No. I'm not going to share how you are going to be put into those categories.
Right.
So you will be given your instructions at the event, and let's just say you'll be placed into categories as fairly as possible.
Yes.
So
that's a great way to say
with no sandbagging. So
yeah.
Yep.
So champion, if you're listening, you're not competing in the beginners.
Right.
So
and also
just get that out of your head.
We do have veto rights. It's like, I actually know what this person is capable of. So
yeah. If I walk around, I'm like, I see you and I know how good of a fly tire you are, and you're in the beginner division.
Like,
I'm more worried about Zach trying to pull a quick one on us.
That Zach?
No, well, the other Zach, but Zach Harris.
They could both of y'all, because y'all are both such different fly tires, could pull a quick one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can tie some trashy looking flies.
Pimple popper, dude.
Yeah. Sparkle fart, dude.
Sparkle fart 2.0.
We need to do a new video?
Yeah, we have to, because honestly, now I'm embarrassed of the first one because the second one is that much better.
Oh, really?
I'm going to hit you up yet, man?
No.
Montana Fly Company?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
We got to get on the Sparkle Fart 2.0.
What was the one that Harris said he had a fly idea for the Emerson's French tickler?
Oh yeah, the French tickler.
The French tickler.
Yep.
Dude,
That's good.
Mike Emerson I don't think you met Mike. He's the state director for Real Recovery, but I don't think he was at the retreat that we were filming at.
But he is planning on being there next weekend.
He told me he was going to try to make it. He was planning on it, but so we'll see what happens. But if he's there, I'll introduce you. But when we were at the Real Recovery retreat, he's like, man, dude, I have your best fly name, the French tickler. And we're like, dude, what? So we've been just like, man, we're gonna come up with this fly, and we're just gonna call it Emerson's French tickler.
Hell yeah, dude.
So
Just do a variation off of Frenchie.
Yeah, we're just.
That's how it started.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So and we're gonna do a video and then shoot it over to him. Do a fly tying video and send it to him.
Or a Frenchie with like these crazy legs kind of popping out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Tickle.
Are you guys got anything else on the iron fly?
I'm excited.
Yeah, very, very excited.
The weather's gonna be perfect.
Yep. Nice.
I saved us. Don't
nice
worry.
save.
I got us, guys.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
Nice save. As far as we are right now, the weather forecast looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
We can see the weather forecast.
When this podcast comes out, we'll be close to the event, and the weather will probably be more accurate. So probably don't trust what we're saying right now. Maybe pull up the weather app on your phone and take a look. But
nah, even if it's bad weather,
yeah,
we're
partying rain or shine.
Honestly,
party rain or
and
shine.
there's cover.
There's cover. There's indoor areas we can utilize.
We're all used to being wet from the waist down anyway.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
What's the top up?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep.
Wear your waders if you have to.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Show off that new Orvis jacket.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. I don't got anything else. You got anything else?
No.
Dude, thanks for coming, Grant.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks
dude,
for
it was
having
great.
me.
Dude, it was nice of you to come, even though you're leaving at like 6 in the morning to go
It's
fishing.
all good, man.
Yeah, dude.
It's all good.
We appreciate it.
Always like coming down, hanging out with you guys.
Yeah.
So.
Look in the description below to find links to our website, online store, YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Discord server, and blog. Please send your podcast questions and inquiries to info@honeyholeangling.com. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you again next week.